You've heard it 1,000 times. Most businesses fail because they run out of money. That's not just wrong, it's a dangerous lie that distracts founders from the real killer. It's the convenient excuse, the simple story we tell ourselves when another startup dream evaporates. If only we'd had another round of funding, we say. If only our burn rate was lower. The truth is, a staggering number of businesses are dead on arrival. They were never designed to survive. They fail not from a lack of cash, but from a strategic vacuum. A silent foundational flaw built in from day one. This flaw guarantees you're building a temporary high-stress job, not a defensible long-term business. Cash isn't the disease, it's the fever that spikes just before the patient dies. The real disease has been festering from the start. In this video, we're going to expose this flaw. We'll deconstruct the myth of money and reveal what truly causes businesses to fail. More importantly, we're going to give you the blueprint for building a moat around your business, a defensive fortress that lets you stop just surviving and start building an asset that lasts. Section 1. The Great Deception. Why we blame money. It's an attractive story, isn't it? The brilliant but underfunded visionary, crushed by the cold realities of cash flow. It's a story of outside forces, of market dynamics beyond our control. It absolves the founder of the hardest responsibility, the strategic design of the business itself. But the data paints a very different and much more uncomfortable picture. When you peel back the layers of thousands of failed startups, as research firms like CB Insights have for years, ran out of cash starts to look less like a cause and more like a symptom. The top reasons for failure are consistently no market need and getting outcompeted. Research suggests that over 40% of failed startups build a product that nobody genuinely wants, and another 19% are simply pushed out of the market. Running out of cash is often just the final, predictable outcome of these bigger problems. This points to a concept we have to get our heads around: structural fragility. Most new businesses are structurally fragile from the moment they are conceived. They are built on sand. Think of it like this. You decide to build your dream house. You find the perfect spot with a beautiful view. You pour your heart and soul into the design, the materials, the interior decorating. It looks magnificent. But you neglected one thing: the foundation. You built it on loose, shifting sand. For a while, everything seems fine. The sun is shining. But the first real storm that rolls in, a storm of competition, a shift in the market, or yes, a temporary cash crunch, doesn't just damage the house. It washes it away. Would you blame the storm? Or would you blame the foundation? Founders are famously optimistic. It's a necessary trait, but also a dangerous one. One study by Cooper, Wu, and Dunkelberg found that a staggering 81% of entrepreneurs believe their chances of success are 70% or higher, with a third of them believing success is a certainty. We fall in love with our ideas, with the vision of the house, and we ignore the geological survey of the ground underneath. This optimism is supercharged by another cognitive trap: the sunk cost fallacy. We've already invested so much time, energy, and money that we convince ourselves to keep going, even when all signs point to a fatal flaw. Research shows that entrepreneurs, driven by emotional attachment and a desire to justify past efforts, will continue pouring resources into a doomed idea far longer than they should. The cash crunch isn't the murderer. It's the coroner who arrives at the scene and states the obvious. The business was already dead, it just hadn't stopped twitching yet. The lack of money story is a comforting lie that prevents a painful but necessary autopsy of our strategic mistakes. It lets us say, the market wasn't ready. Instead of confronting the terrifying reality, I designed a business that was destined to fail. To build something that lasts, we have to stop blaming the storm and start obsessing over the foundation. Section 2. The strategic vacuum. The real killer. This flawed foundation has a name: the strategic vacuum. It's the chasm between frantic daily activity and the deliberate construction of a defensible, long-term business. It's the state of being perpetually busy while making zero strategic progress. It's the dangerous illusion that movement equals momentum. The founder in the strategic vacuum is the most sympathetic figure in business. They're the first to arrive, the last to leave. Their life is a whirlwind of sales calls, content creation, support tickets, and putting out fires. They are the human embodiment of the hustle. Their revenue might even be growing. Deep down, a terrifying thought keeps them awake at night. If I stopped running for 1 second, this entire thing would collapse. They haven't built a business. They've built themselves a high-stress, low-security job they can't quit. They are the central pillar holding up a roof that's constantly threatening to cave in. They feel trapped because they are. They are in the most dangerous place a business can be, the commodity trap. The commodity trap is the default state for most new businesses. It's what happens when you offer a product or service that's easily replicable. In this trap, the only real way to compete is on price. You're in a bloody race to the bottom with every other person who had a similar idea. Your success is defined not by the unique value you create, but by your willingness to accept thinner margins. Think about the most common business ideas. The generic e-commerce store, dropshipping the same products from the same suppliers as 10,000 others. The freelance graphic designer, whose style is indistinguishable from thousands of others on a platform like Fiverr. The social media marketing agency that uses the same playbook for every client. These aren't businesses. They are operators of a commoditized service. They are completely and utterly replaceable. This is the strategic vacuum in action. The founder is so consumed with the doing, running ads, designing logos, posting content, they never engage in the building. They're so focused on the next order, they never ask the most critical question. How do I make my customers feel insane for choosing anyone but me? Without a clear answer, you're just adrift in a red ocean of competition. You aren't dictating the terms of the market, you're just reacting. A competitor lowers their price? You have to match it. A new player enters with a slightly better feature? You scramble to copy it. This is exhausting and ultimately fatal. It's a game you can't win because there will always be someone willing to be cheaper or faster. You're spending all your energy defending a patch of dirt that anyone can claim. That isn't strategy. It's survival. And survival is a terrible long-term business plan. Section 3. The fortress mentality. Introducing the moat. It's time to stop thinking like a shopkeeper and start thinking like a monarch. A shopkeeper worries about today's sales. A monarch worries about the security and longevity of the kingdom. The most successful and durable businesses aren't run by shopkeepers. They're run by monarchs who know their primary job isn't just to build a castle, but to dig a wide, deep moat around it. This moat concept, famously championed by investor Warren Buffett, is the single most important strategic idea you can internalize. It's the direct antidote to the strategic vacuum. A business moat is a sustainable competitive advantage, a structural barrier that protects your business from competitors. It's the reason your customers stick with you, even when a cheaper or newer alternative shows up. Your business is the castle, the value you create. The moat keeps invaders at bay, allowing your castle to prosper. Shifting your focus from daily sales to building your moat is the most profound mental transition a founder can make. It changes the questions you ask yourself every day. Instead of, how do I get more customers today? You start asking, how do I make my product so valuable for my current customers that they'll never want to leave? Instead of, how can I lower my prices to win this deal? You start asking, how can I build my brand so I can command a premium and customers are happy to pay it? Instead of, how do I make a sale? You start asking, how do I build a system that makes it harder for anyone else to make this sale tomorrow? This is the fortress mentality. It's knowing that a business's long-term value isn't a function of its current revenue, but of its defensibility. A profitable business with no moat is a fragile success story. A less profitable business with a deep moat is a potential empire. One is a sandcastle, impressive today, but gone with the next tide. The other is a fortress, built to withstand sieges and stand for generations. So, what are these moats? They aren't complex strategies reserved for Fortune 500 companies. They are fundamental principles you can weave into your business from day one, even if you're a solo founder working from your kitchen table. We're about to break down the 3 most powerful and accessible types of moats. This is your blueprint for escaping the commodity trap. Section 4. The moat archetypes. Your blueprint for a defensible business. Building a moat isn't a single action. It's a strategic choice that informs every decision you make. Let's break down the 3 most powerful archetypes you can use to build your fortress. Moat 1. Network effects. The first, and maybe the most elegant moat, is the network effect. Simply put, a business with a network effect becomes more valuable as more people use it. This creates a powerful, self-reinforcing flywheel that's incredibly difficult for a new competitor to stop. Each new user doesn't just add revenue, they add value to the product for every other user. The mechanism is pure magic. In a normal business, customer number 1,000 pounds is just a customer. In a business with a network effect, customer number 1,000 pounds is a feature upgrade for customers number 1 through number 999. This creates a positive feedback loop. More users make the product better, which attracts more users, which makes the product even better. Let's look at a perfect example. Calendly. On the surface, it's a simple scheduling tool. 100 developers could probably clone its basic functions in a weekend. If its value were just the software, it'd be a classic commodity, stuck in a price war. But Calendly's real product isn't the software. It's the network. Its value doesn't come from you using it to manage your own calendar. Its value explodes because other people use it. When a potential client or colleague sends you a Calendly link, the friction to schedule a meeting is near zero. Click, pick a time, done. Now, imagine a competitor, Scheduleize, launches tomorrow with a prettier interface and a cheaper price. They face an impossible uphill battle. To compete, they don't just need to convince you to switch, they need to convince your entire network to switch. The value of Calendly is its ubiquity. A scheduling tool that no one else uses is useless. That's the power of a network effect moat. It shifts the fight from your features versus their features to your entire network versus their empty platform. Think about it. Facebook would be a lonely diary without your friends. eBay would be an empty warehouse without buyers and sellers. WhatsApp would be a silent app without your contacts. How do you build this? From day one, ask the audit question. Does adding a new customer make my service fundamentally better for all my existing customers? Obsess over features that encourage user-to-user interaction. Build a community, not just a customer list. Build a platform where your users connect with each other, not just with you. A network effect is one of the strongest moats because you don't own it. You unleash it. Moat 2. High switching costs. The second powerful moat is high switching costs. This is all about making it difficult, expensive, or just plain inconvenient for your customers to stop using your product and move to a competitor. Now, it's critical to get the psychology right. This isn't about trapping customers in a bad relationship. That just breeds resentment. This is about integrating your solution so deeply into your customers' lives or workflows that the thought of leaving becomes a massive headache. You're not building a prison, you're building their foundation. You become part of the very structure of their success. The most powerful examples are in enterprise software. Think of Salesforce or Workday. These platforms don't just sit on a computer. They become the central nervous system of the entire company. Sales processes, customer data, financial reporting, it's all built on this software. Switching from Salesforce isn't like changing your brand of coffee. It's like performing open-heart surgery on the business. It means migrating decades of data, retraining thousands of employees, and risking months of chaos and lost productivity. The cost isn't the price of the new software. It's millions in operational disruption. The moat is so deep competitors can't even get close to the castle walls. But you can build this on a smaller scale. Think about your bank. Why have you been with the same one for 10 years, even if a new online bank offers a slightly better interest rate? Because switching is a pain. You'd have to change your direct deposit, update all your auto payments, and get new cards. That friction creates powerful inertia. Or consider Apple's ecosystem. You bought music on iTunes, store photos in iCloud. Your family uses iMessage, and all your apps are tied to your Apple ID. Switching to Android doesn't just mean buying a new phone. It means leaving behind a decade of your digital life. That is the high switching cost. To build this moat, shift from thinking about transactions to integration. Ask the audit question. What would my best customer physically have to do to fire me and hire someone else tomorrow? How much time, money, and stress would it cost them? Focus on becoming part of their daily habits. The more value they build on your platform, the higher the switching costs, and the deeper your moat gets. Moat 3. Intellectual property and AMP. Proprietary assets. The third moat is built on exclusivity. Intellectual property, IP, or a proprietary asset. This involves creating a legal, technical, or resource-based barrier that stops competitors from copying the core of what you do. The most famous form is a patent. For a drug company, a patent on a new medicine grants them a government-sanctioned monopoly, which in the US generally lasts for 20 years from the filing date. This is the deepest, most legally fortified moat imaginable. For that period, they are the only castle on the landscape, though patent laws and effective terms can vary internationally. But for most of us, this moat takes other forms. One is a proprietary algorithm, or secret sauce. The Google search algorithm is the ultimate example. For decades, its exact workings have been a closely guarded secret. Competitors can build a search engine, but they can't replicate the specific rules and signals that make Google so effective. A more modern example is OpenAI. The value isn't just the ChatGPT interface. It's the foundational models like GPT-4. These models are the result of years of research and billions of dollars in computational cost. This creates a massive technical and resource barrier. You can't just decide to build a competitor to GPT-4 in a garage. Another powerful proprietary asset is data. If you can collect and leverage a unique data set no one else has, you can generate insights and create value that's impossible to copy. Google's value comes not just from its algorithm, but from the petabytes of data on what the world is searching for. This data creates its own flywheel. More searches lead to better data, which leads to better search results, which leads to more searches. Finally, a brand can be a proprietary asset. A brand isn't just a logo, it's the collective trust and emotion that exists in the minds of your customers. It's an IP asset built over years of consistent delivery and storytelling. Why do people pay a premium for a Patagonia jacket or a Tiffany ring? It's not just the quality, it's the story and trust baked into the name. That is a moat that can take decades to build. To build this moat, ask the audit question. What do we have, or what can we create, that no one else can legally or practically copy for the next 5 years? Invest in genuine R&D. Protect your unique inventions. Collect and analyze data in a way that gives you a unique perspective. And build a brand that stands for something more than just what you sell. Layering these moats, a network effect with high switching costs, for example, is how you build a truly resilient business. All right, we've just covered the 3 core moat archetypes: network effects, high switching costs, and intellectual property. This isn't just theory. This is the strategic bedrock of every durable company. To make this dead simple for you, I've distilled these principles into a practical, one-page scorecard. It's called the Moat Checklist, a 10-point audit to help you diagnose whether you're building a fortress or a sandcastle. It's the exact framework we're about to walk through, but in a simple PDF you can use to stress test your own strategy. It's completely free, and you can grab it using the link in the description. Take a second to download it, because what's coming next will show you exactly how to use it. Section 5, the litmus test, a framework for building your fortress. Understanding moats is one thing. Applying it is another. We need a practical, no-nonsense litmus test to vet our business ideas and audit our current operations. This is that geological survey for your business. A score of 7 or higher on this checklist suggests you have a real fortress. A score under 5 is a major red flag that you're probably in the commodity trap. Let's walk through the 10 points. 1. The barrier check. Could a competent competitor launch a functional clone of your core offering in less than 3 months with less than $50,000? If the answer is yes, you have no barrier to entry. This is the number 1 sign you're in the commodity trap. 2. The copy test. Is your business a one-click replicable model? Think a standard dropshipping store or a generic info product. If someone can use off-the-shelf software to copy 90% of your business in a week, you have no moat. 3. The network score. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much more valuable does your product become for the first user when the 100th user joins? A 1 means no network effect. An 8 or higher means you have the seeds of a powerful moat. 4. The switching hurdle. Estimate the real cost, in time, money, and stress, for your ideal customer to migrate to a competitor. If it's less than a day's work, your moat is a puddle. If it's a 6-month project, your moat is deep. 5. The IP audit. Be honest. Do you have patents, proprietary data, or a truly secret algorithm? Is your brand a recognized and trusted name in your niche? Is it truly unique and defensible? 6. The pain tolerance test. Who is your customer? Are you trying to sell to everyone? Or are you targeting a niche with a very specific painful problem? Serving hard customers, like enterprises with complex needs, repels copycats looking for easy targets. A difficult customer base can itself be a moat. 7. The velocity edge. Can you genuinely innovate and ship twice as fast as any competitor because of your team, processes, or culture? A speed advantage is a temporary moat, but it can be powerful if you can sustain it. 8. The cornered resource. Do you have exclusive access to something your competitors don't? This could be world-class talent, a key partnership, or a unique distribution channel. 9. The quarterly threat assessment. Look ahead. If you become wildly successful, which company will come to attack you, and how will they do it? If you don't have a clear answer, you haven't thought enough about your vulnerabilities. 10. The metrics track. Numbers don't lie. Are your customer retention rates above 80% year over year? Are your gross margins healthy, above 40%, and stable or increasing? These are the vital signs of a business with a moat. Plummeting margins are a sign of commoditization. To see what happens when a business fails this test, look at the spectacular collapse of Quibi. They raised $1.75 billion. Money was not the issue. But they failed because the business was a strategic black hole. Let's run it through the checklist. Barriers to entry? 0. Anyone can create short-form video. Network effects? None. My watching a video didn't make it better for you. Switching cost? 0. You just closed the app. IP? None. Their content was disposable. Now, to be fair, their timing with the pandemic was awful for a service built for on-the-go viewing. But a lack of any real moat meant they had no resilience when that storm hit. They built the world's most expensive sandcastle, and the tide came in. For decades, we've been stuck on the wrong conversation. We've obsessed over funding, burn rates, and hustle culture, mistaking the symptoms of failure for the cause. We've blamed the storm for washing away our houses while ignoring the fact we built them on sand. The real conversation, the one that actually matters, is about structure, strategy, and defensibility. Business failure isn't a failure of funding. It's a failure of design. The silent killer is the strategic vacuum, that gap between being busy and building real, defensible value. The antidote is the fortress mentality. The difference between creating a high-stress job for yourself and building a genuine, lasting asset is a moat. It's the deliberate work of digging a defensive trench around your castle. It's the network effects that make your product stickier with every user. It's the high switching costs that integrate you into your customers' lives. It's the proprietary assets that make you impossible to copy. So, as you move forward, I urge you to discard the old narratives. Stop focusing only on the tactical and start obsessing over the strategic. The most important question you can ask yourself every day is not, how can I grow my business? But, how can I make my business more difficult to compete with? Stop building a sandcastle. Start digging your moat. If this video shifted your perspective, hit that subscribe button, because we deconstruct strategic frameworks like this every single week. For your next step, click to watch this video right here on The 7 Powers Explained, which will show you exactly how to layer these moats to build a truly unstoppable company.